Hi everyone, this is Rachel Estate again, and this video is going to be on the educational profile and learning styles of Japanese Americans. When the Japanese started immigrating to America, they wanted to avoid discrimination, and they thought the best way to do that was through education. So they sent their children to the American public schools and encouraged the use of English language as their primary language in the house. They also wanted their children to go to college, believing that the higher education would dissipate discrimination. Again, they believed that education would be the factor that would fight against the discrimination and prove themselves in this country and help them be viewed as Americans rather than just Japanese immigrants. Now, we talked briefly about the Gentleman's Agreement of 1907 in the economic profile in the last video, but we only talked about the effects. Here we're going to talk about the cause of that agreement. So it was signed on March 14th of 1907, and it was an informal agreement between the governments of Japan and the United States. The Board of Education in San Francisco wanted to segregate the Japanese and Korean students after the earthquake of 1906. They wanted the Japanese and Korean students to go to school in Chinatown with the Chinese students, and Chinatown for most Japanese and Korean families was 10 or more miles away. So the commute would be really hard, and again, the Japanese families really encouraged their students to go to the American public schools. Prior to the earthquake, there was 93 Japanese children in 23 different American elementary schools. And after the earthquake, the board wanted to send them to Asian American schools as opposed to the American public schools. They wanted to keep that segregation going. When the Japanese government got wind of this, they were furious because it violated the Treaty of 1894 that guaranteed Japanese American equal rights. President Theodore Roosevelt came in as a mediator and made a new agreement between Japan and the San Francisco Board of Education. In order to end the segregation in the schools and threats of war on Japan's side, Roosevelt made an agreement to limit the Japanese immigration. This was the best outcome that they could come up with that made both parties happy. Fast forwarding to World War II, while they were in the internment camps, the Japanese continued with their education. Again, they strongly believed that education would be the factor that helped them go farther in life. Inside the camps, the WRA helped set up communities within the camps. And the WRA is the War Relocation Authority. They helped adults get jobs, but only American citizens had the paying positions, and the students went to schools. Now, the school system that they set up was elementary through high school for the Japanese American children. The students were able to graduate from high school while in the camps, and once graduated and able to be at a college level, the students could apply for permission to leave the camp indefinitely to earn a college degree. Post-World War II and in today's world, the Japanese Americans are well respected in the professions and corporate economy. The discrimination that existed towards the college education pre-war largely ended. Those who have a college degree are highly respected in their fields, and they also hold high-paying, well-respected jobs as well. And overall, in the United States, the Japanese Americans on average have higher levels of education compared to the rest of the population. And in this chart, you're able to see where Japanese Americans stand in respects to the other cultural groups in America. The Japanese are the fourth line from the bottom, and it covers a wide range of topics, but the ones that are most concerned to us in this video are the non-proficient in English all the way through the high skill occupation. About 10% of the Japanese are not proficient in English, which is still rather low compared to other cultural groups because, again, they encourage the use of English in the home. As far as education is concerned, only 9.5% have less than a high school diploma. And for a college degree, over 40% hold one. And 4.6% hold an advanced degree. And 32% have a high skilled occupation, which again is above the average, the national average in the United States for cultural groups. So they are some of the top ranking students and workers in the United States. Now, focusing on their learning styles, they tend to be divergers, which means they like to ask why when material is presented. They don't generally have a dominant learning style and use a combination of the visual, the auditory, and the kinesthetic intelligence. So they like to see, hear, and use hands-on activities when they are learning. The Japanese did face a cultural shock when they first came to the American classrooms. Back in Japan, the classrooms were teacher-centered, where the teachers did most of the talking and the students didn't interrupt class with questions. They waited till the very end when the lesson was done before they asked their friends or their teachers questions. And they're used to having everything written on the board, where here in America, we only write key points. But they are quick to adapt to the environment they're in. And when the first generation immigrants came to America, they were very adamant about sending their kids to American public schools, which helped with the cultural shock that some of them faced. So they were able to easily adapt. Thanks for watching, guys.